How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the DmtsRadio Radio Show. Today's show is brought to you by Never Too Much Kicks. Today I have a very special guest with me, BrittneyCrush.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
You know the first time, do you know the first time we met? You remember?
It wasn't at the release party.
No, it wasn't.
It was before that. It was, hold on, let me think. I can't.
Right here in New Britain.
At the, it was for a cause, and it was at the school or something, right?
The BAM.
The BAM. Oh, for BAM,
BAM,
right?
where
for
you
BAM.
performed at BAM.
Yes.
But
BAM was a cool event too.
Yeah, and you did your thing there
Thank
too.
you.
Actually, one of your clips is actually on our website.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I think it was Picton.
Yes, Picton.
Performed Picton.
Yeah, one of my favorite.
Amazing song. So let's. What I really want to do is I want to get into a little bit of your life story and
Sure.
Before the singing came and you just growing up. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm from Hartford, Connecticut, born and raised, the south end of Hartford. My mom and my grandma raised me, and growing up, I started with theater. So from a very young age, my mom put me in theater production. My mom was a single mom, so sometimes she put me in a lot of stuff to fill up the gaps after school and stuff like that.
Keep you busy.
Exactly, so she could pick me up at like 6 or 7 when she was done. So I started working with Hartford Children's Theater from a young age, and then that really was where I kind of got my stage, I guess, presence, you can say. And then it was that and basketball. So
you played basketball?
Yeah,
nice,
and I played for Buckley High School, and those were my two loves. It wasn't until 8th grade where I had a chorus teacher who was like, she really has a good voice. She should kind of go in that direction. But it's cool because theater is such a great foundation.
Yes.
They really go hand in hand. I read something with Nicki Minaj, and she said that she studied theater. And I just feel like it's easier for you to be on stage and really get to, perform when you have that. So when I was a little bit older, it was time for me to go into high school. My mom was like, just apply to Academy of the Arts. And I applied, and I was heartbroken because I didn't get into the theater department. I got into the music department. And then I was mad because they didn't have any basketball. But, the universe works in very special ways, because that's really like my dream now. So that's really where I found, music, and really started to go for it and believing in myself in that.
Wow. And the good thing about it is I was reading a little bit about you. And you graduated from college, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have your, what was it, associates?
I got my bachelor's in
right?
music business. Well, it's actually in business and management with a concentration in music business. So when I graduated high school, my family pushed me to go to college. I was the first to go to college, and I didn't know what I wanted to study. Yeah. I know that I loved music, but I couldn't see myself going to school to sing, becoming a vocal performance major. I envied those who could, but I just didn't come from a family where I could just do that, spend all those thousands of dollars. Like, I needed a plan and a foundation, something that you could come home if it doesn't work. So I was looking up schools, and my counselor was like, listen, this one school has, you can do business, but then, you can kind of go into music business, and they teach you about radio production, copyright infringement, branding, marketing, accounting, and then you even get to do an internship in New York City, music related, as one of your courses. So I was like, yeah, I can get my way in New York. I'm out of Connecticut. I think I'm going to use that as an excuse to really try and do my music thing.
Yes.
And that's what I did. So
and it worked out perfect.
It did. The last year started getting to the point where I was like, all right, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I had a band at that point. We were doing so many shows and stuff, and my focus was so off. But I got through the strength of God. I got through the last bit of it, and I was happy because I got my bachelor's, so that worked.
No, that's awesome. And I don't want to keep you long, but I don't want to get ahead of myself, so I want to back up a little bit.
Sure.
And I want you to give us a little bit of experience of how was it growing up, a young girl in Hartford, Connecticut, and us being, put in those areas where it's harder for us, and then you begin singing. How was it growing up?
I mean, it definitely was tough. I didn't really have a male presence in the house, so my mom and my grandma really tried to strive for me to be really dominant, really strong. There was a lot going on in my community, drugs, addiction, prostitution, and I'm not gonna lie, there were times where I felt like, maybe I could just be a nurse because I just want to make sure I get enough money to have my own apartment.
Security.
But a part of me was like, nobody would believe. Once I went to New York, I felt this new love for back home, and I felt like I have to do it because there's so many little girls like me who might not have seen the light or might not have had parents who, I mean, my mom bust their butt to make sure I got out of Hartford. So like she sent me to like leadership programs. When I was in high school, I got to go to Europe for a program. So I kept getting out of Hartford, and every time I came home, I was like, wow, like I have to make it, because like my friends and my peers, they never left the South End or they never left the North End. So I was blessed in that way, but it definitely is so challenging. And that's why even now I try and do a lot of community events, and I'm very passionate about like not little girls, but young women in Hartford. I try and do a lot of women empowerment thing because it's really tough. My heart goes out more for the males too, because I feel like there's really not an outlet for young males. And the thing is, in those big cities like New York, it is talked about. But Hartford is just like that rough place, and not just Hartford. You know, certain parts of New Britain and certain parts of Willimantic and Waterbury.
It happens.
But nobody knows. So it's like we don't get the outlet where, you know, all of a sudden there's a free show from like a huge artist like in New York. Alicia Keys, Jay-Z just comes and do a free show.
Do free shows.
So the kids who don't have nothing could take the $2 subway and find some type of, there's nothing here. It's like it can feel like a dark hole. So it definitely did play a big impact.
And you know what too? Also, like when I think of things like that, you know, I look at like myself, who I was actually in the prison system at the age of 11.
Wow.
You know, so in and out of, you know, juvenile detention all the way to the age of 20, which I'm 31 now. But and by you saying that, you know, I think that's what's hurting us a lot. You know, we get a lot of kids who's not exposed to the box that they're built in. You know, the projects it keeps us in this box.
Exactly.
And then once you get outside that box, like you see this, you go, wow, the world does has other things out there.
If you can get that, because most of our people don't get that.
You're right about that. So. No, that's powerful. And now so you're very busy. I see the character that you built, going to school, learning from your mom. And when I look at your videos, me and my wife were looking at your videos the other day, and we were looking at it and we're like, the quality is good, and what you doing, it's like you took all that business, you know, education, you know, your passion and everything, and you balled it all up, and you're given a great character. How important is it to you to keep your craft so sharp, you know, and give the world, you know, quality, you know, art?
It's very important. It's so important that sometimes I get conflicted, like, would I ever want to sign a record deal? Because I can't have other people touching what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is so much bigger than just trying to be cute or trying to, you know, make it work. So it's definitely everything. I try really hard, even though sometimes resources are limited, because, you know, to be honest with you, there's a lot of artists on the rise, more so like rappers who, you know, they might have family members who are like pushing them, like pushing them with money. And, you know, when they make it, they can pay it back. And I don't really have that. So sometimes it can be discouraging. It can feel like I'm moving slower. But, you know, it's been working so far. I've been really trying to reach out to my community, and just like me feeling like I was a diamond in the rough, trying to like really find the other people who are from here who have those same talents and skills that we can maybe link up together. But it's very important that I keep my craft sharp, that I continue to try and learn, that I continue and use my voice, so I don't try and like take too much time off from doing shows and stuff. I want to stay connected to that, listening to new music. I'm always beating myself up, saying like, you know, I can be better, and I can get my ears better, and I can do better riffs. So I try and keep that to keep me going. No,
that's good. And that, I think that's really important, because that's what everything, you know, constant elevation causes growth. Like I heard Jay-Z say that, you know, a couple weeks ago, you know, constant elevation causes growth. So I think it's very important to just beat ourselves, you know, and you being a woman in this industry, and not only a woman that is coming into this music industry with a standard of respect. You know, you're making sure that you're making music that's beautiful. You know, not just music. You know, a lot of people basically just take words and take that art and just use it for anything. You're using it for a purpose. You know, what is your passion?
My passion is, I do want to be an inspiration to people. I want to show my family and show people around me that if I could do it, anyone can do it. But more importantly, just trying to bring real, genuine, raw talent back into the industry and emotions. I mean, like you touched upon it, a lot of people are, and I'm not discrediting what you're doing, but a lot of people are just putting stuff out just to put stuff out. And sometimes we do want to just have fun and just have a club record. But it's like the substance as a whole, especially in our community, is getting so diluted that, I mean, even to the point where I was with my best friend yesterday looking for clothes for a performance. I'm like, you know, now even the retail stores are like shaping the clothes for like plastic surgery bodies. Like it's getting so deep and so saturated with this like no depth that's continuously coming out that it's almost scary. Like I have a little sister and it's like, you know, I want her to be able to have the choice. Like, okay, now I'm listening to just stuff to make me feel good and now I'm listening to this. Not that's all she knows. She knows nothing else. And even when I play something else, she thinks that's boring or not as good. That's scary. You know what I mean?
No, you're absolutely right.
So, and all of those things, usually they have a message behind them or that artist has a story behind them. So it's more than just, you know, trying to compare genres to genres. It's more just trying to bring depth back, you know, and realism, I guess, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's important, like you said, especially for the community of Connecticut. You know, I'm going to use Connecticut because this is where we're at. You know, this is where we come from. And it's not healthy for us to keep trying to run to different states, different areas, trying to get that. You know, we need to create it here. What do you think we're missing as a culture?
As a culture, we're missing unity. I say this all the time. When I went to New York and I was performing, people would say, like, I'm from Brooklyn. Oh, my God, everyone else from Brooklyn automatically likes you. They don't wait to hear, well, what part of Brooklyn? What street of Brooklyn? What middle school? Rawson or... Like, it's not that serious. Like, it's only here that we divide and we subdivide and we subdivide and we subdivide to the point that now all you got is 12 people in your corner. Like, you know, we're already small. So I just feel like we have all the tools, we have all the people now. If only we just... we're together just off the strength that we all came from Connecticut and we know the hardships that come into that. So even if you do something different, and I might not always like it, I gotta just respect it because you're doing something. And right now there's a lot of nothing happening here. So if you're trying to break that ice, trying to break that door, then I have to just respect that. So and then I also think that sometimes we have this mentality that someone gotta be the one. Like someone gotta put the whole state on our back and just go for it. And other places don't. They don't do that. Like ASAP Mob, they had like a mob of them and they all were able, it's so much quicker when you have a group or when you're unified. So, and then the same thing, people are able to put their hand down, like the OGs from New York or from California or from Philly or Detroit are putting their hand down for the other people. We don't have no one to put our hand down. We don't want to take the hand. It's just, so it's a constant cycle.
No, that's a conversation that can go on forever because we need that. I know it's been changing a little bit. You know, you are seeing things like different platforms and people coming together and trying to support, you know, but like you said, everyone wants to be the one. Or they want to be the first one. Like I got to make it first. You know, even if they see someone about to make it, you know, I got to take his shine first and then he can come.
That's what I mean, though. It's okay to have that drive because let's be honest, sometimes I'm a competitive person for playing basketball. You could let that fuel you, but sometimes people are okay with like getting in the way of someone else to do it. Or like making sure that someone else doesn't, you know, do what might be deserving for them to so that they can get ahead. That's dangerous.
You're absolutely right. I'm gonna tell you a story. Listen, I growing up, I was a writer, artist, everything. I rap, you know, very, very talented. And as to today, I'm artist as well. But a few years ago, I decided to do something different than what artists always do. So I said, you know what? Everyone want to be an artist. Everyone want to make a mixtape. Let me do something different. So what I did was I wrote a book for the very first time, and I self-published my first book. Then I did it again with another book. So I'm an author now, but I'm still an artist. So I know how artists think. So when I started this platform right here in this independent radio station, what I did was I took myself out of the artist circle for a little while because I said to myself, if I go into that circle and just try to be an artist, and there's no platform out here for us, then nothing's gonna really get done. So what I did was I took myself out of that circle and said, let me start a platform where I can expose these artists and we can make a chain, because we're all a puzzle, but we're just different pieces of the puzzle. So I think if we all come together, like we were saying, then Connecticut will be a fulfilled puzzle. But until that, we're not moving as a unit.
True, because some people might look at it and say, well, you know, I want to use it, I want to come on the show or whatever, but I can't put him on the track because he might outdo me and he got the radio show. It's like, but imagine, like, we could just build this partnership where we constantly help each other out.
Yes.
So, it happens.
Our own movement. So tell us about the song Bad Girl. That's your latest single that you dropped.
Bad Girl. So Bad Girl, I wrote in the wee hours of the night. So my boyfriend actually set me up on my own this time. So I didn't have like an engineer. You know, he set me up and he was like, "Yeah, I'm tired of you. You're gonna learn how to record yourself." Because you know I'm always trying to record or whatever. So that could be like a constant thing. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Because now, you know, it was late, and I think that I was able to be really vulnerable and just kind of just write completely how I feel and not care what anyone around me or in the studio is thinking. And then afterwards, I was listening to it and I was like, wow, this song seems so big. I almost feel so cinematic. I almost feel like I need to have a visual with this. So that's why when I went into making the visual, and then once the visual was done, I was like, yeah, it's got to be a single. So I already had a love for it because, like I said, it was my first time really being able to just write and record myself in my own little box and setting. But I just love the way it came out, and it was so different from Can't Listen, and it's a ballad, but it still is so different from Pick Them. It just sounds so much more, I don't know, maybe musical, maybe it might be the guitar sound or what, but it just sounds really big and cinematic, like I said. So I love that song. I love how the visual came out, and you know, a lot of women like it, so I ended up gearing towards women once again, which sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like I'm not always trying to, but you know, that's
how it flows out, right?
That's how it flows.
Oh, you make me be a bad girl to you. Oh, bad girl. Oh, you make me be a bad girl to you. Bad girl. Please don't fall through, baby. I know that it's driving you crazy. I want you to love me harder, hold me stronger, kiss me longer. I gotta have it, baby, I gotta have it for you. Baby boy, you know that I'll get crazy for you. Look at all this passion, how it made me for you. Guess that's how you know that I'm your baby. It's true, it's true. Bad girl.
And what is the main thing you're trying to give the world? Is you trying to give the world more inspiration, more love, more pain, or is it a mixture?
I think it's a mixture. I mean, it happens, you know, whatever's going on in my life. In that song, Bad Girl, I really was just saying that when you really love someone and you're really, sometimes they could bring the bad out in you, but that's only when you're really, you know, passionate or in love with that person. And sometimes I feel like us as women, we don't really see how sometimes we can become, not these monsters, but we're just so complex, and there's so much going on with society, and there's so much pressure that sometimes you just give all of that to that one person who, you know, constantly is trying to show you that you're beautiful and they love you, and sometimes you can't even see it in yourself, and you look back afterwards and you're like, wow, who was that person? You know what I mean? So that was just kind of that story. So I guess a little bit of both, pain, love, inspiration, you know, a combination.
And that's what I get from your music as well. And another thing I want to talk about too is that your involvement in the community. You know, with young girls and you know, doing singing lessons. My cousin, who is off camera, his daughter, you're actually gonna be giving her lessons. Yep. Well, he was telling me about that.
Next Saturday.
So so that's awesome. Like, how does that make you feel? You know?
I love it. So big thank you to Artist Collective. I was working somewhere else. I was using my business degree. It wasn't in a creative way at all. Nothing to do with music, but it was my business degree.
Yep.
And I moved back to Connecticut, and I kind of was just like, whoa, where do I go now? I had done so much in New York with my career. I felt like maybe it's a stepping stone back. But I was caught up in that, and then all of a sudden I started substituting through a mutual friend who's also an artist at Artist Collective, and I loved it. I was like, wow, working with kids is so beautiful. They take to stuff. They're so eager. And over the summer, I just ended up being full-time there and working with the kids over the summer. And I said, listen, if I'm not going to be doing, like, that's the most that I'll do as far as a regular job.
Yes.
It's going to be teaching kids music.
Got
so
you.
if I have to do a regular job in any way, that's the only way. Because it makes me so happy, and they have so much hope, and they're not tainted yet.
Yes.
So, you know, sometimes when you give lessons to older people, they already have been told, like, you can't sing, or you're not a singer, or whatever. So they're, like, scared and timid. But kids, they get scared a little bit, but once they warm up to me and they realize I'm their teacher, they're trying to go, they're giving it their all, they're screaming at the top of their lungs, and the way they learn is so fast.
Yes.
So by the end, you hear them doing stuff, and you're just like, you almost want to cry.
That's
so
nice.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I love it.
So, you know, I know that your boyfriend is a real big supporter and backbone for you. You soon to get married?
Where's the camera? I'm ready. No, I'm kidding.
I just had to ask that. I just had to ask that.
Yeah, no, we definitely, that's the direction we want to go. We take everything serious in our relationship. It's so hard because we're both young and we both do music and entertainment, so we don't get to have the leisure of, like, you know, I have some friends around me who are already kind of like settling and getting to do that, and I'm just like, thinking about my first tour, and he's thinking about the same thing, like, when will it happen? But it's okay, because it's nice to have that person, you know, through the highs and lows of this industry to be by your side.
When the time comes, it comes. You do not need to rush that. But big shout out to him, you know, because you know, I know that he's a real big supporter. And you need that, you know, in this game.
And he produced Bad Girl and picked them.
Yes, he produced a lot of songs with you as well. Like he was telling me, I remember that. Great work, man. Great advice. Can you, as a woman, as a lady, as someone who experienced so much, and the position you're in, give any of these kids, male, female, high school, middle school, advice so they can see something different or feel something different to change their life? What would you say to them?
If I was to say to the women, I would say that stay true to yourself. Don't let anybody strip you of who you are. If I was to say something to the males, I would say that we believe in you.
Yes.
That you can do it, that you are a king, you can fight through anything that's trying to bind you down, that things will bind you down. But to just continue to push forward, and that there are queens, people like me, and other people who believe in you, to, you know, be that leader role, and that you do have it, you know, within you. If you just continue to just push forward. And the same with the women, and that we have to support. We have to support each other. Men, we have to, or young guys, we have to tell our women they're beautiful in and out in order for them to be able to play their role. And the women, the same thing. You know, we have to encourage, and not even on a relationship status, just as friends, as brothers and sisters, we have to just work together. So
and with a lot going on right now in the world, with just everything, you know, violence, police violence, racism, how do you stay focused with just the little girls that's looking up to you in the position you're in? It's real important for you to put on that be that role model, correct?
Yes.
Because they're looking at you 24/7.
24/7.
How important that is to you?
It's so important. It's so important. It definitely, it keeps me going. Sometimes there's days where I'm like, you know, it's just too hard. I'm smart. I could just get a job. Like my dad tells me, you could get a job. You can go into law, you know. And sometimes I just want to give up. But it's so important for me to be that role. And I feel like with music, I have to be that superwoman type of role that I can't be if I'm just a nurse or just something else, because that's really what I feel like God put me here for. But it's so important. I joke with my friends. My little sister 2 days ago told me, she was like, yeah, no, you have to buy, we were talking talking about something in the house I have to buy because you're rich and famous, so you have to buy it. And I was like, oh my God, little does she know, you know, it's just a come up, but she doesn't understand, like, you know, you always getting dressed for these shows and you have this on the radio. You have to be rich and famous, and just that alone makes me say, like, wow, I have to, because this can't be a figment of her imagination. When she's 10, she remembers her big sister, you know, doing, and now what is her big sister doing? You know what I mean? I have to make it so I can say,
pushing you like,
like
by
you
default,
can't give up.
Like, okay, now I gotta go.
Yes,
you know,
plays classical piano like really, really well. So she's not a singer, but sometimes I do feel like maybe my influence or my, you know, thinking that music is something you can do has made her, because she is like, she's off the wall with it.
No, that's awesome. Piano is an amazing thing to play. It just teaches you. I might take piano lessons after this interview. You grind, and I follow your page, you know, your IG, your Facebook, always posting, trying to new music, everything. You grind, right? This ain't nothing you can play with when it comes to wanting to do what you want to do, right?
Right.
What kind of advice or anything that you can give just artists out there that sometimes feel like they want to be an artist today and don't want to be an artist tomorrow? You know, what type of advice can you give?
What I would give is, anything in this life, you're not going to be successful if it's not for you, okay? So it's not to deter anyone from having dreams and ambitions, but if you're doing it for superficial reasons, if you're doing it for popularity, if you're doing it for clout, if you're doing it for, you know, revenge, I would say just stay away from that, because any time in life that you're doing things with those motives, you're going to fail.
Absolutely.
So not even just because I want to protect the music industry, just in general, it's not a healthy thing to do. And 2017 is definitely super saturated with everyone wants to be famous, which is scary, you know, because a lot of us artists, we just want to do the thing that we like to do and make money, you know, and be comfortable with. Just like, you know, people who want to be a doctor, that's the same thing they're striving for, that they could be, you know, do it enough that they can provide for their family. Ours just happens to be this thing that everyone right now is obsessed with. But I would just, tell people that if it's not something that you think that you can do even on your hard days, women, when you don't feel beautiful, when you haven't worked out and you still need to go on that platform, you need to dig from the depths of you, and it needs to be something that, you know, you really want to do. And then even like on a funny tip, radio interviews are getting crazy now. They put you live and make you sing live like all the time now. You know,
I'm not gonna make you sing today.
Well, you know, I definitely just stick to what, you know, you're passionate about. Everything that glitters isn't gold. Just because you know, people like to be, you know, viral and all that stuff doesn't mean it's an easy thing, because it's not.
And you gotta invest in yourself, correct?
You put more in than you ever get out for a really long time. Mentally, emotionally, you know, sometimes you're giving the crowd something that you don't even have. You know, you have to be, if you get hired to be, sometimes I have to do weddings. I'm not feeling good. You know, I got stuff going on with my dad's marriage right now that I don't want to be in a wedding right now and sing and make everyone else feel good. So, you know, there's a lot of different ways you could take that, but definitely just do it what was passionate for you. Yes,
that's great. And your number one artist, I mean, you just name one that inspires you.
Number one
right now, singing. It can be someone from back in the day. It could be someone now.
It's so hard. That's so hard. But one, I gotta give it to my girl, Jasmine Sullivan. My boyfriend's so tired of me playing Need You Bad from her and performing it, but I don't care. She's the one. She's timeless to me. Every time, whatever she comes out, I think now she's on like the new show Insecure. She has a soundtrack with them, with Bryson Tiller. She's just a solid singer to me. A lot of people don't know about her, but her voice is stupid.
Doing her thing right now.
So
that's awesome.
She'll get that.
No. Thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
It's definitely an honor. I'm gonna keep following you.
Yes.
You know, I'm putting together an artist event.
Oh, awesome.
So I will be sending direct invites to specific artists.
Artists.
Soon. And once again, I want to say to my supporters, thank you very much for supporting me. I do this for y'all. This is our platform. And be sure to download the DmtsRadio music app. You can find Brittney Crush up there. She has 3 singles, 3 up there. Go stream that Bad Girl. You got that
Yes.
available. Let them know where's that available.
Bad Girl is available on all music platforms. So I think iTunes, Google Play,
Tidal,
Spotify.
all that good stuff, right?
Get it, yes.
Go ahead, go get that, and go check out that video. It's on YouTube, a new video.
Bad Girl.
I already watched it a couple times, me and my wife. So go check that out.
Yes.
And
Oh,
there you
you
have
make
it.
me be
Brittney
a
Crush.
bad girl.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
You're
yes.
so great.
Yes.
Oh, bad girl. Oh, you make me be a bad girl to you. Bad girl. Please don't fall through, baby. I know that it's driving you crazy. I want you to love me harder, hold me stronger, kiss me longer. I gotta have it, baby. I gotta have it for you. Baby boy, you know that I'll get crazy for you. Look at all this passion, how it made me for you. Guess that's how you know that I'm your baby. It's true, it's true. Bad girl. Oh, you make me be a bad girl to you. Oh, bad girl. Bad girl. Oh, you make me be a bad girl to you.